You know, there is actually some things I like about Twitter, despite criticizing the heck out of it pretty consistently. For example, I like the little anime bots on Twitter that will send cute pictures out that brighten your day. You know, sometimes you can interact with good people on Twitter. And there are some things on Twitter that are not that bad. But aside from that, in my opinion, Twitter is probably one of the worst websites on the internet. It is full of so much nonsense and so many disgusting people, so many hot takes, and it really just worsens humanity, in my opinion, because these people just sit on Twitter making hot takes and not actually benefiting humanity. If Twitter wasn't there, maybe they would actually do something more productive, but that might be too generous to some of these people. But that's not the main point of this video. The point is, did you think that Twitter could get worse? Worse than it is? You know, it would be nice if it could get better. But apparently, this might be a thing. We're looking at Mashable.com. Twitter will test reply limiting feature to beat back trolls. Now, previously, Twitter had already been working on a function where they would allow certain comments to be removed from the replies and stuff like that. But it looks like this is like that feature tenfold. Let's take a look. Twitter is trying to make it a lot harder for trolls to hijack conversations. The company, let me just stop right there. If you're trying to have a serious conversation on Twitter, the platform is not made for that by default. It is just not made for that. And that's why Twitter previously increased the character limit on their tweets. The original concept of Twitter was to have like very brief posts. And in theory, that's really not that bad of a theory because, as I've said before on this channel, and you might disagree with me on this, I personally am someone that prefers things to be brief, to the point, and simple. So I don't mind that much. But then Twitter started going away from that business model. They started raising the limit. And then, like, it's still not enough characters to have a thorough discussion. And you can link different tweets. You can combine them together. But that just gets so unorganized and messy because then you have people responding to different parts of that tweet. And the conversations just fall apart. The platform is not made, in my opinion, for serious discussions. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So let's start with that, and now we'll continue on. The company will start testing a new feature that will allow users to set limits on who can reply to their tweets before they hit send. The feature, which the company plans to test in a limited rollout later this year, it actually plans to test it out. Okay. For a second, I thought this was implying that they were just considering the feature, not actually getting ready to roll it out. That said, they say a limited rollout. But, wow. Marks one of the company's most aggressive efforts to fight trolls and targeted harassment on its platform. With this new feature, Twitter users will be able to choose who can reply to their tweets from a list of options that include everyone, only followers, only people who are mentioned in the tweet, or nobody. If the account is public, the tweet will still be visible to everybody on Twitter, but only the selected audience will be able to reply. How sad is that? If you have something important to say and you can't handle a little bit of backlash, I don't think you stand very much by what you said. If you back down to adversity that easily, and it's that easily because this is the internet, they're not actually there in real life. They're not there in front of you. It's just people on Twitter, probably who are anonymous. If you can't actually stand up to that and stick by what you said, then in my opinion, you are arguably pathetic. And I like that's probably being too nice, but let's continue on. It allows us to create a whole new format for conversations that didn't exist before. Twitter's director of product for conversations, Suzanne G, said during a press event at CES. Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. The move is Twitter's latest and perhaps boldest experiment involving controversial health on its platform. The company previously introduced this ability to hide replies. That's the one I was talking about earlier at the beginning of the video. But it still required users to manually hide each unwanted reply, which isn't exactly practical if hundreds of people are jumping into the conversation. For Twitter users who often become targets of abuse and harassment, the ability to limit replies could have a dramatic impact on their experience, as it could prevent their conversations from getting spammed with unwanted replies. If you only want replies that you think are like good, again, I have to go back to the fact that you don't seem very confident in what you're saying. You should want all kinds of opinions, whether they're good or bad. Like, it's literally promoting an echo chamber. This statement That's so crazy to me, man. One more time. For Twitter users who often become blah, 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 the ability to limit replies could have a dramatic impact on their experience, as it could prevent their conversation from getting spammed with unwanted replies. And many Twitter users were quick to praise the experiment as a welcome change. Yeah, if that's true, I'm not surprised in the least. It's Twitter. It's Twitter. Still, critics could argue the change could help prevent misinformation from being easily debunked or harm the ability for everyday Twitter users to interact with public figures. But Twitter says one of the goals of the test is to reduce some of the more unhealthy conversational dynamics that happen on Twitter, like trolls dunking on tweets they dislike or ratioing. I would like to just ask, what exactly is unhealthy with that? What exactly is so unhealthy about getting ratioed or having trolls in your comments? What exactly is so unhealthy about that? Because I think that could actually make you stronger. Again, if you take the heat, but you stand by what you said, that's going to make you a stronger person. Look at Ricky Gervais. Look what he did. Look at the stuff he said in front of the people he said it to. This guy risked everything with the stuff he said recently, but he still said it, and he's very confident about it. He's very at peace with himself. At least it seems like it. You know, when you're in the face of adversity, when you stare it down and you press on, that's going to help you get stronger. If you just simply block everyone who disagrees with you and label them a troll, is that really gonna help you? No, it's actually gonna make you weaker. It's gonna make you a lot weaker. Let's continue. Part of the goal of the experiment is seeing what the outcomes are. How does that influence the ratio situation? How does that influence the ratio situation? How does that influence how people use good conversations? Said Twitter's product lead, Kayvon Beckpour. The feature is, for now, still only a test and will only be accessible to a small group of users. Wonder if they're all blue checks. Twitter says it will begin experimenting with the new replies feature sometime in the next couple of months, and that it will be watching closely and looking for feedback. Oh, really? Now you want the feedback, though. What if the feedback are trolls? Will you still want the feedback, or are you going to block it all out before it decides whether to make it available more broadly? The hypocrisy with that last part. We're going to test this feature, and we want feedback. We want to know if people like it or not. And the feature itself is limiting the feedback that people will be able to get on Twitter. Isn't that ironic? It's like Twitter actually admits that feedback is good, but here they go trying to silence feedback under the guise of it being a troll or whatever. Again, I don't think you can almost never have a serious discussion on Twitter. That's all I got for this one, man. It's a very gross topic. I'm going to end it here. I got another segment coming up I'm going to get to work on right now, and I'll have shout outs in that video. But for this one, man, let's get out of here. I'll see you next time.